is Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya. The Weekly Show with Aditya.
It's 1930.
This is episode 357 on the 28th of April 2021 on this beautiful starry night of Wednesday evening 28 April 2021. Let's begin tonight's episode by knowing what are the highlights. We will start with the song Kansas, Carry On My Wayward Son, then decode which comes first, loyalty, paycheck, or something else. Then we shall discuss that mask and social distancing are now cliche and an old story. It's on autopilot. It's time for social media distancing and sanitizing your profiles. And then we shall continue with the match between Sunrisers Chennai and Hyderabad Indians. Let's start with the song. Carry on my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest, don't you cry no more. I rose above the noise and confusion, but it's still going on now. Just took at a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring even higher. Well, right now it's only illusion, but I flew too high. Through my eyes could see I was still a blind man. Through my mind could think I was still a madman. I heard the voices when I'm dreaming. I can hear them say, carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Masquerading as a man with reason. My charade is the event of the season, and if I claim to be a wise man, well, surely it means that I don't know. On a stormy sea of moving emotion, tossed about. I'm like a ship on the ocean. I set a course for winds of fortune. But I hear the voices say, carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. No more. This song is so true of what is happening right now. Illusion, stormy sea of noise and confusion. And that's all that's been happening over the past 15 months. You will always remember nothing equals the splendor. Now your life's no longer empty. Surely heaven waits for you. Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Don't you cry no more. Thank you so much. So, what comes first, loyalty or the paycheck? Well, that's like a chicken or the egg question. Without loyalty, you don't receive a paycheck, and if you don't get a paycheck, you won't be loyal to your organization. And that's a catch 22 situation for most of us because both are so intertwined together, it's difficult to separate them. But is there loyalty in the current domestic championship? Well, with players leaving the competition due to obvious reasons, neither of the two have any significance right now. They've already received their paycheck, they won't be deducted because there is a sense of sensitivity from their bosses, employers, and from the Indian Cricket Board. So, yes, at this point, neither loyalty nor paycheck come into question. But there's another important thing. In this competition, there are no friends or rivals. It's all about fringe players getting noticed. It's like a summer internship which students crave for. This is a competition which everyone craves for because the players know that they will be fit, they will be raring to go, they will prove themselves because since this is an international televised competition on national TV on every continent on the planet, instead of being a fringe competition, a state game which is not televised, since this tournament gets televised and it makes the players be more active than they usually are. This tournament is important for them to prove before they go to their international commitment that yes, we are physically fit, we have proven ourselves, we were not just going through net practice which is meaningless, we have proven ourselves in front of good international sports person, whether it's the English Premier League, this competition, the Bundes League, these all such tournaments give the coaches of the national teams a chance to sit down, note which player did what, and then the selectors select the lucky 30 out of the hundreds of players participating in this tournament. And then, as a certain group is in the outgoing phase, another group is in the incoming phase. So the incoming players, the ones in their 19s and 20s, will get a chance to show that yes, through this tournament, which is the only one to prove themselves, we will get a chance. But before we go further, let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. Let's continue the discussion. Mask and social distancing are now a cliche and an old story. Everybody knows it. It's like wearing helmet and seat belt when we are ready to go out in our respective transports. Without helmet and without seat belt, it's impossible to drive our vehicle. So in the same way, mask and social distancing are now a part and parcel of what we do. And it's a cliche, it's an old story. So, and we are on autopilot with this. This doesn't require any further discussion. But what is important is the real distancing. Social media distancing and sanitizing your profiles is more important. Ignore publicity stunts by pseudo celebrities. They are now trite and irritating. So lock them out. Even if they're concerned about events, it's all about publicity. Even if they show concern, show a little disappointment that, okay, events are happening, I'm not happy about it, it doesn't mean anything. It's a selfish approach, it's a publicity stunt. So one can ignore this particular trait, and it's irritating. Whatever they say, it's always easy to come to a conclusion that they are professional liars. But that's the way it is, and that's the real distancing required right now. Social media, whether it's a local app, a foreign app, or something between the two, distance yourself from it and sanitize your profiles. Remove your photos, numbers, whatever you think may lead to trouble going further, because that's what is happening, and that's the way it should be. Let's move on. Let's go for a bit of commentary for the match between Sunrisers Chennai and Hyderabad Indians. So those who are still wondering what is happening with the match, let me give you a sneak peek. So as of right now, Hyderabad are 18 for 0 in 2.5 overs, and they have begun in a confident manner because it's important for Hyderabad Indians to win this match and get back on the winning ways. Though will it make a difference going further? Probably not. But that's the way this tournament is, with so many players leaving, injury becoming an important aspect, and all the issues associated with bio bubbles and whatnot. It's very interesting as to the players' worry is interesting, as Chahar bowls to Warner straight to the fielder, and it's 2.5 overs, and Hyderabad are 19 for 0. So how many runs can Hyderabad get in this 3 overs, 19 runs? We would call it a slow start. I would say it's a good start. They have enough players to accelerate. And I would even gamble if they're 100 runs in the first 10, 11 overs. Send someone like Rashid Khan at number 3. Change, shock everyone. Say no, we are not going with the batting order that we have. We're going to change the status as Warner plays it towards deep point, ends the over, 3 overs gone,
It's 1945.
20 for no loss. Let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. Let's continue the live commentary. So Hyderabad are 20 for 0, 21 for 0 in 3.1 overs. A decent start, around 7 runs per over. Can they get between 150 and 160? And remember, this match is being played in Delhi, a smaller ground. So 6 hitting will be easy, and all the heroics of previous matches may come to naught as Sam Curran bowls to his England mate, and this is a very, very wide delivery. Slipped, probably Duke coming into effect. One thing that baffles me is how the broadcasters decide what is a drop catch and what is not a drop catch. How can the broadcasters who have never played the match, and this was, I think the ball slipped and it could be called a no ball wide extra runs as Perso pulls, and this has been taken at the deep wicket boundary. So Bairstow, in his excitement to hit 6, has been dismissed. It was, call it a poor delivery, but the catch has been taken, the wicket has fallen, and that's what is more important. Another short delivery on the pads. It was a gift which should have been smacked into from Firoz Shah Kotla to probably Dhyanchand Stadium, but it ends in the fielder's hand, and this is a big wicket for the bowling team because the batter who hits 4s and 6s for fun, whose score is 95% of 4s and 6s, suddenly finds himself gone. So 1 for 22 after 3.1 overs, and most likely Kane Williamson will come at number 3. And then what happens next? Which means all the pressure is now on Warner, Captain Warner, but not the captain for the national team that has already been declared by the Australian Cricket Board at Warner and Smith, as Sam Curran bowls to Warner, who smashes away straight to the field of 3.5 overs, going at around 6 runs per over. And Manish Pandey has been brought back into the team after a couple of young players did not get the ball rolling. We often say that batters get a poor delivery. Sometimes they take advantage of it, sometimes they don't. Well, I don't think that. And this one has been cut away and the small ground, but it has been saved at the boundary. And so 3.4 overs, 1 for 24. As I said, there's an expectation, almost a robotic expectation from batters to hit every poor ball for a 6. In fact, if there was no fielder and it had gone for a 4, it would have been called a poor delivery. But a fielder was there, so you call it good captaincy, good field placing. Maybe the short ball was part of the plan as a quick single is taken and the score moves on to 1 for 25 after 3.5 overs. 6.5 runs per over. If they can get to somewhere between 150 and 160, it will be a close match. But what makes me a little trite about this tournament is that the time that is wasted, the time that it takes them almost 2 hours to bowl 20 overs. Captains are fined, they are warned, and yet they don't learn. As the final ball of the 4th over, defense and 4 overs gone. Decent start by both the teams, 1 for 25, time for a short break. Welcome back after the break. As the 4th over starts and Deepak Chahar comes into the attack, back bowl to bowl is 3rd over, 1 for 26, and it's a decent start, not a quick start, and they would want to get to at least 70-75 in the first 10 overs, which means they will have to attack bowlers like Thakur, Jadeja, and the remaining bowlers who will come. Note Imran Tahir, Dwayne Bravo comes back for the final 5-6 overs. A decent team, a couple of players. For me, for example, Vijay Shankar, Shivam Dubey and Hardik Pandya should be in the team together. As Manish Pandey smashes, it beats everyone and the first boundary for the batter. He just threaded the ball and not a single fielder moved. It was a ball that split between point and somewhere else. I have no idea. Point and cover. As Manish Pandey receives the ball, this time the same shot, and this time the fielder was moved. It was not an aggressive shot. So 4.3 overs, around 6.5 runs per over. A decent start, if one can call it that. As Chahar bowls to Pandey. This time a quick single taken and nicely done. So 1 for 31 after 4.4 overs. Decent start, slow start. that's for others to decide. I think it's a decent start, going around 6 runs per over. Yes, they should have got at least 40 by now. Well, expectations are always high in these situations. It's difficult to analyze what's good, what's not good, what's a good score. Will the wicket play a role? I think wicket pitch has no role to play in such situations, as Warner gets ready to face the fifth ball of the fifth over. This time on the pads and a single taken. So the aggression not yet coming from the Sunrisers, from the Hyderabad Indians. So the final ball of the fifth over, this time plays it away, aggressive shot, no runs given, 5 gone, 1 for 32, time for a short break. Welcome back after the break. So the final over to be discussed right now. One for 33 after 5.1 overs, so no change in bowling. The opening bowlers continue. I would have done a gamble and said, let's bring a spinner. This logic of a left arm spinner can't bowl to a left handed batter, or a right arm spinner can't bowl to a right handed batter makes no sense. It has no logic. Just change all these rules. Who decides all this? What is the logic behind? There is no logic. As we get ready for this time, Manish Pandey plays it, and a beautiful drive through the offside. Just a soft touch of the bat and the ball has reached the boundary. His second shot, not too much of aggression in that shot, just a touch, and the outfield is quick, and the dew will also help. I don't know where the dew comes from, though. Let's go with the fact that there is some dew. That's why teams bowled first, or in this case Hyderabad batted first. They want to defend the score. At this time it's played away, and this time it's an uppercut straight to third man, which was fine. And then there's this question of timeout. Why is the timeout taken twice? It should be taken once. That takes away 5 minutes, and then add to it the advertisements, 2-minute advertisements, 3 minutes of timeout. It's a little ridiculous, but that's the way it is. As Warner plays straight to the fielder, he's not looking his usual Warner, but he's 34 and a half years old. What are we expecting? That's the way the thing is. I think the strike rate of 80 would be considered poor. If he gets out, he will be given all the brick bats for a poor strike rate. I think it's still a decent strike rate. 85 is a great strike rate. As we get ready for the fifth ball of the sixth over, on the pads, flicked away, but there's a fielder there, and once again the batter fails to put away a poor delivery. So 5.5 overs, 1 for 39, a decent start. One would say that The bowling team has won the first 6 overs because they haven't given away too many runs, but this is often a smoke screen. Let's not get carried away by it. So the final ball of the 6th over and the final ball of this commentary. As we get ready, bowls, Manish Pandey pulls, ends the over. It's 1 for 39.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show with Aditya.
It's 20 hours.
This ends episode number 357 on the 28th of April 2021.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show.